Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? I know last time I had a problem with my microphone, so if you guys can hear me, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to see if I can hear myself through the stream. But the market is getting ready to open in about 5 minutes now, so we're just getting ready. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Awesome, the microphone works. So the trade plan for today, this is Webull stock. We are getting ready to start trading this. We already have our trade plan set for from Friday, but I trade a little bit differently because I do short sometimes. I just don't promote it as much because it's a more advanced tactic. So in this case, I would want to short because we are already up 2 green days in a row. This is the third green day in a row, and we are already going up. Um, we broke through the high pre-market hours right here to 1551. I kind of want to see as soon as the market opens, I kind of want to see a break up a little bit because that way we're going to be on the daily high and then I want to start shorting. So maybe around 1560 open a small short position. If we end up pulling back right away without actually breaking the high, then I will just take a position closer to this support line. I will go long and try to ride this back up because we have been very, very bullish. I'm not saying this is the top and we're going to turn around all the way, but that's the trade plan. We are kind of overpriced. If we take a look on the 4 hour time frame, we are overpriced. So just to be safe, and I can give myself a stop loss, a better stop loss if I can get up a little bit higher, then my stop loss can be up here rather than if I get in here and then my stop loss would be a lot lower. So that's the plan. I kind of wanted to break above a little bit. Um, we are currently, this is the 30-minute time frame right here. It's going to be a little easier to see because it's a pretty volatile stock. But that's the current plan. So market will be open in about 2 minutes and we're going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, it's not even pulling back, and the market just opened up. We'll see where this goes. Maybe it's showing a little bit of selling pressure. Here we go. I already got my buy order set. I do it off my phone because it's a lot easier for me. I'm used to that way. It's a lot easier for me to already have it typed in and then I can just buy. But as you can see, we did not enter because I wanted to get in at 60 and we topped out at 54. So I kind of want to break above a little bit higher. But as you can see how fast we sold off, kind of indicating that we are really overpriced. So kind of have to be patient with these. It's a little bit more riskier to open short. So I would rather miss out on the trade than to actually open the short and then, lose out on money. But we also have a good opportunity if we pull back down closer to, 14 something like down here. We can probably open up a long position. We're trying to pull back. We'll see if this momentum holds or continues. Look how fast we're getting bought up. Let's go over to the 5 minute time frame. Look at these wicks. We kind of don't want to sell off, but we also kind of don't want to go up. So it's a bit risky. That's why I kind of wanted to break above and open short because we are overpriced and it'll be a lot safer for me to open short up here rather than open a short down here. Because then if we go up, my stop loss would be a lot tighter because I'm already would be in a loss. But if I open it here, I can have my stop loss way up here. So it would be a lot safer. And as you can see, we're starting to go back up, trying to break through the 5 minute EMA here. Looks like we're holding above here. Let's see. Still holding above 1530, close to this price not really going any lower than 1520 as of yet. We might be getting closer to the moving average right now. Yeah, we're just getting bought up on the 5 minute. We have this moving average here, which would be support. But you can see how fast like it does want to go down. So I wanted to open a short. I just needed to come up a little bit higher. But we got this support here. So that might be in the way. And plus all the positive momentum right now. Even though it's overpriced, it's getting bought up a lot because of all the positivity around the stock right now. Look at this amazing pullback that is starting to form. It's not too going too low, but we are starting to go a little bit on the downside. I will go long instead of opening short if we get closer to the 1460 range. I just don't want to be doing it up here because this is our resistance on the day. This was our support. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to take this call. I'll be right back. Let me just type it on here. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had a phone call I had to pick up, but as we can see, we are right on the moving average here on the 5 minute time frame. On the 30 minute, we are testing the EMA line right now. We could potentially bounce from here, but we will see. This is why this was such a good short because we went up a little bit. I should have opened it a little sooner because we were extremely overpriced, but my target was at 1560. Excuse me. But we just did not reach that. How awesome would this short have been? But as you can see, if we get to, let's see, if we get down to like 1480, I might open a long position because we are already in the red. Man, this would have been a really awesome short if I just got in a little bit earlier. We were 5 cents, 6 cents away and just missed it barely. But we do have support here right at $15, right at this EMA, the 30-minute EMA. If we take a look at the 1 hour, it would be a little bit lower. So I'll probably go long right at 1489. Let's do that if we reach that price target. It looks like we're breaking below a little bit. On the 5 minute, we also have the moving average, which we look like we are slightly breaking below. 1489 would be around right here. I'm going to go ahead and just input. And we are already getting bought up. Yeah, well, it looks like we're getting bought up really, really fast. I do not want to buy in between this as it is a little bit more risky. What I do want to do is if we do get bought up, I want to short once we break through the high because then my stop loss could be a lot higher. And if I buy here, I can get stop loss just by running up to here. So I don't want to start shorting here, but at the same time, we got a lot of momentum, a lot of positivity right now. I will go long, but we need to reach the price of 1489 because I do want to buy in a bit lower. I want to get a better deal so that we have more room to go up. I do not want to buy up here or make a decision in the middle because then if we choose to go down, I'll lose money. If we choose to go up, I'll get stop lossed out if it's a short. So that's the plan. I need it to break out of this zone. I need it to go even lower, or I need it to get above 1454 to 14, roughly 14, I mean 1560, so I can open a short. But it looks like we are starting to bounce. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Look at that. We did not. We retested the moving average and started going back up. So we'll see if we hold above here. 1487. That's the target I'm going to be aiming for. As you can see, we are trying to hold on the moving average. On the 5 minute time frame, we are getting oversold. So we could see some bounces, especially with the moving average here offering support, and on the 30-minute, we also have the EMA line offering support. And then we have all this momentum, all this positivity from last week. So definitely a lot of good news. So we could easily recover this all the way to the top. I just don't personally want to take the risk because the gain is too small for the risk. The downside potential, we can go all the way lower. If I'm going to go long, I want it to pull back down a bit lower to closer to 1487. That's what I got set right now. So at 1487, I will go long. We do have all this momentum. I might open a short, but I don't want to do it here. I'm going to wait till we get a bit higher once we break through the high. And the reason is because if I open a short now, yes, we can continue going lower. But if we go up and then my stop loss will be up, let's say up here. But if I wait for it to break through the high, my stop loss can be a lot higher. It would be a lot more unlikely for me to trigger that stop loss because shorts are a bit more risky. I definitely don't want to short just at any price. I'm trying to get in at a way better deal if I want to do it. We almost had our short get triggered in the morning. It was set to 1560, but we just barely missed it. And look at that, we even broke through that high just a little bit and then it fell, which would have been a really nice short, but we just barely missed that. But I do not want to start shorting here because we could easily recover this. Um, Going long would be a lot like buying in instead of shorting would be a lot higher chances. That's because if we take a look at the 1 hour, look how we've been uptrending. We've broken through the EMA. We've confirmed it multiple times. The only risk factor is we are overpriced right now. If we take a look at the 4 hour time frame, which is a bigger time scale, look how high we are right now. We are really, really overpriced. So there's going to be a crossover. If the crossover happens, we're going to see a lot of bullish momentum. But if it a lot of times I've seen right before the crossover happens, we tend to pull back to retest the zone. And if we go below that, then we can start a little bearish pattern. But if we hold above and wait for the crossover to happen, then we really rally up even higher. But most of the time, it does pull down to retest that zone right before the crossover. That's kind of why I was trying to get in on a short and it looks like we just barely missed it this morning. It just did not trigger by 6 cents. We could still possibly open the short. Like I said, I just don't want to do it right here. I need it to break through the high, or I need this to go even lower so I can get in on a long position. I just don't want to do it in the middle here. And for those of you wondering what these lines are for, these are support from the previous day. So these black lines right here and these bluish lines. This is night cycles. This is day cycles. As you can see right here, we're crossing into the day cycle here, and market will close pretty much over here, and this will be the night cycle. This is support, the lowest point we sold off to from the previous day, and this is the high from the previous day. Those are my resistances. As you can see, we pre-market hours, we're breaking through it, and now we're climbing all the way back up. So we might be opening that short. You see how high of chances we have to recover that whole thing? That's what I was talking about. If I did open a short down there, I would already almost be triggering my stop loss. That's why I did not want to do it. But we will see because we can continue. We might still open it up once we break through this. I still have it set at 1560, which I believe would still be a good short. Um, But I kind of don't want to short unless, like I said, we get a little more overpriced because this does have a lot of momentum right now. I highly doubt we're just going to crash like crazy. We might pull down, but I don't think we're going to crash like super a lot. Um, I don't necessarily think we're going to break this support today. So therefore, if we pull back down closer to the 1470, 1480 range, I think that would be a really good buy zone. Oh, look at that. We are starting to come back up. This we are going to the 5 minute. That way we can see if we're going to break above this. If you guys are also trading this, let me know in the comments what price points you guys are looking for. If you're just spectating, if you can drop a like, I would really, really appreciate that. But we are coming back. You could see how this is acting as resistance here. We could possibly get rejected. If we do not break through the 1354, then we potentially will go even lower and then most likely break through this. So I want to open a short. It's a little bit more risky for me to do it here. I want to get in at a better price. At the end of the day, it's probability, so I want to take the best possible chance I can, and I do not want to expose my money towards a smaller probability. I'm always trying to go for the highest probability trades because then they're a lot more successful, and I'm not trying to take losses if I don't have to. I would rather miss on the trade than take losses because either the trade goes my way or I miss out on it, and then there's a small chance that I will actually lose money. So that's the way I trade. Come on. You know it gets a little anxious when you start talking to the stock a little bit. I just don't like when it trades right in these middle zones because if we look at the 30-minute, this is our support, this is our resistance. We're close to the resistance, so I don't want to go long. I don't want to buy into it because then the gain might be a lot smaller. But then I don't want to short here. We do have a lot of room we can fall for short, but shorting is a bit more risky. So I don't want to short here and then have myself stop loss out here. I want to have a bigger stop loss. So, like I said, if we break through the high and have that huge little momentum, temporary momentum, I'll open the short. Then my stop loss can be higher. It'll be less likely for it to get triggered, and then we can play towards the downside and make some money. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, it's barely moving because it's a bigger time frame. Um, we are overpriced. Do we sell any covered calls on Webull? Do do you sell? I personally don't. I don't trade options. I've been trading this same strategy for a very long time now, and it's been working for me. I personally do not want to go into options. I do have a lot of people telling me to start options. You can make a lot of money, and I don't doubt it. I know some people that make really good money trading options. I personally don't want to do it because this strategy works for me. I don't see a point. So when something works, I don't want to change it. You know what I mean? And options is slightly different than trading this. So it would be another layer that I would have to. I mean, I do know the basics of options and stuff, but I'm sure it's a lot different than just trading regular stocks, buying, selling, and shorting. But we are waiting for that little price to start picking a direction here. I know sometimes it could be really slow. These are pre-market hours, and if you take a look how it's not really picked a direction yet. It looks like we are not breaking through that high because confidence is a bit lower at this price point. We might be going a little lower, and if we do, we might potentially break through this low. You recently started doing options. Been doing really well completely. That's good to hear. Recoup your losses. When I first started trading the first year, I made some mistakes and I was in a huge loss. And then I thought my second year of trading, I felt like I got better and I wanted to recover my all my losses. And my second year of trading, I made even more losses. So then my gap of losses became humongous. And then on my third year, I really, really started honing in my skills, seeing where I can get better, and I spent the entire 3rd year just recovering those losses and a little bit into my 4th year. So I wasted a lot of time just wrestling pretty much the momentum and everything. And now I developed this simple strategy where I don't trade against the direction. Like, I will only trade against the direction. For instance, we've been shorting. Well, I mean, we're looking for a short. The only reason I'm going would go against the direction is because we have 3 solid green days in a row. We have this day here, we have this one, and then we are also starting to be green today. And if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, look how overpriced we are. A small pullback is very likely, and just for those reasons, I would be shorting, but I would not be shorting on a day to day. It's a bit more risky. Most of the time, I go long, and in some cases, I short, but my stop loss is tighter. I'm glad you're doing well with options. I know it's a little bit of a different skill. It's a bit definitely a bit harder. I mean, I feel like it's a little harder to learn than just the basics of stocks buying and selling. It is really popular right now. You can definitely make a ton of money. You just have to have your risk management on point. Figure out how many losses. Look at that, we're coming back up. Sorry about that, but 15, 54, 55, 56, 57. Come on. Definitely breaking above again. This just shows you how strong this is right now. 57. What do you think? Should I lower my target? Because my entry point is 1560. We're 2 cents away, 1 cent away. There we go. 61. There we go. I opened the short. Let me see. Get my calculator over here. Yeah, I used to back in the day when I just first was starting out, I would listen to live streamers with my earpiece on, and it would make it a lot easier. So I'll try to I know you're listening, you might not be exactly watching. So I'll try to do more like I'll let you know more of the prices and stuff of what's actually happening. We are 1566 right now on Webull. We are a bit overpriced. I'm trying to see where to set my stop loss because I just opened a short position, and if I stop loss out, I'm fine with that. I'll just enter another short later if we get more overpriced. But we are pushing 1568 now. Let me do that math real quick. 15. My stop loss would be at 1584. That just shows you how bullish this momentum is. I could have probably waited a bit more, especially once when we started to come back, because we did test that EMA on the 30-minute and we just bounced right off of it and broke through the high. But it's all good. I didn't open that big of a position, and we are at 15. Our high on the day is 1571 right now. I know my long-term portfolio is really happy right now, but we'll see how my day trade portfolio does. We are at 1574 currently and pushing highs again. On the 4-hour time frame, we are really overpriced, extremely overpriced. So let's see how my short position does. Let me switch over to the 5-minute. And you can see how fast we are pulling down. We are at 1559, 58. Because of how overpriced it is, yes, the momentum is strong, but this is why I kind of wait for it to get overpriced before I open a short. This is why I waited for the high to break. Because if I opened a short right at pre-market open, it wouldn't my sell point wouldn't have triggered when we went down because this wasn't a big enough crash for me to trigger my sell point, and now I would have been in a loss, most likely stopping out. That's why I waited for it to break the high and then open a short, because then my stop loss could be way up here rather than down here. So we'll see how this plays out. We are at 1557. I'm 4 cents a share in the positive on that short. So let me set my sell target here just in case. 1550, 1548. Looks like it's really starting to come down to those pre-market hours. And crypto is really going up too. I don't know if any of you guys trade crypto, but crypto started coming back up this weekend. Let me do my stop loss here. 1584. 1584 would be my stop loss. I am opening a short position, so I make money when it goes down. Um, and if it goes up, I would lose money. So 1584 would be my stop loss, and 15.60 is my entry point. I don't want to take more than a 1.5% loss. So that's usually what I aim for. Minus 14. So 1514 would be my take profit. Let me set that sell point. Cover. Or not 1514. Yeah, I'm sorry, 1514. Also, you want to kind of try to stay away from round numbers. If you ever set your sell target, let's say $15 flat, it might be a better idea to do it like at 14.90 or 50. Those round numbers, a lot of people set their targets there, and sometimes you don't get triggered because it is a round number. So my stop loss is 1584, and if the price moves to 1514, I will cover my short. As of right now, I am in the profit. Um, we didn't know that it's going to pull down. We just know when it does pull down, it's going to be quick. And we were anticipating it uh, just because we've been moving up 3 green days in a row. This is the third green day. And then on the 4 hour, look how overpriced we are. And then to make it a little bit in our favor, what we did was once it broke through the high, then we opened the short and not just over here, because then my stop loss could sit a lot higher. Um, we could still hold up here and we could still come back up and we could still break through the high and I might get triggered. But at least now that I have a profit cushion, it would have to go a lot higher for me to get triggered. Gives me a little bit more, definitely gives me a little bit more room. So we'll see where this goes. Hopefully it goes in my favor. I know some of you guys want it to go up, but right now I want it to go down. 15 1529 is the current price. We got in at 1560 and we opened a short. So 30 cents, about 30 cents in the positive right now. Looking at the 5 minute time frame, looks like if it holds up here and we start breaking above the EMA line on the 5 minute time frame, this will indicate a higher low right here, which would be a positive sign towards the upside for you bulls out there, whoever bought in long. This right here would be a positive sign if we break through the CMA right now, because this would be a higher low. But if we don't break through the EMA, we could potentially go lower and then retest this zone here. The fact that we broke through the high means confidence is there, and it also means we are still uptrending. The pattern's not broken, but you have to take into consideration, excuse me, you have to take into consideration that we are extremely overpriced on the past 3 days. So that's the only reason I open short. I don't open short that often. I only open shorts when we get this overpriced, especially the 4 hour time frame right here. Look how overpriced we are. Excuse me, my voice been getting a little bit. I hope I'm not getting sick. but we are currently at 1524 and we are at 1521. That's the price right now. If we break below this moving average, then we have really good odds of going even lower than this. And as you can see this morning, we already reached 14.99. I don't need it to reach 14.99. I need the price to reach 15.14 and then I will start covering my short. I don't need it to go as low. I just want it to go. It could even 15.14 is right here. That's above the moving average. So really I just need to get here to cover, take my profit for the day. We are getting a little close. And even with this pullback that we have right now, take a look at the 30-minute RSI. We are still doing good. We're still above the EMA line. Take a look at the 1 hour. Still considered overpriced. That's how badly overpriced we were. And today we might pull back down all the way to the EMA line here. I mean, we don't have to, but we could and still hold and still continue the uptrend pattern tomorrow and go even higher. So this doesn't mean that we are going to turn around and pull back down. This just means it's in my favor to short a tiny bit, which to me that would be a 3% gain from 1560 to 1514. It looks like we're trying to bounce back up on the 5-minute time frame. Like I said, if we break through the CMA line here on the 5-minute, then this would indicate a higher low, which would be a positive sign towards the upside. I kind of don't want that to happen, but if it does, it is what it is. I got one of these old school calculators right here. That way I can easily type in the current price and see how much a 1.5% loss would be so I can set my stop loss real quick. But we aren't too far from our sell target. I just need it to come back down a little lower. We could easily get triggered because we don't need to break this trend for me to get triggered. I just need it to come down to the moving average right here for me to cover that short. Current price 1521 looks like we are trying to hold up here on the 5-minute time frame. We still did not break that EMA line. So we are trading between the EMA and the moving average. If we break below this, then we can potentially go even lower. But if we break above the EMA line, then this would become a higher low. And then we could go back up to retest the highs, which I kind of don't want to happen because I have that short position right now. I could potentially close a little earlier, but I don't want to do that because every single time you open a trade, you expose yourself to risk of going down or going against your direction and lose money. So the goal is to take a certain amount of profit without exposing yourself to the market too much. I don't know if you guys if that makes sense, but pretty much the less trades I open, the less chances I have of losing money. If I open no trades, I have no chances of losing money. So if I already open a trade and I expose myself to a 1.5% loss, then I would want to gain at least 3%. Otherwise, why did I expose myself to 1%, 1.5% loss if I'm only going to take 1% gain? Does that make sense? I just don't want to expose myself to the market too much. And when I do expose myself, it needs to be worth the gain, pretty much. As you can see, we are weakening a little bit, but we are showing support at the same time. So we're still trading at 1525 currently. If we break through the EMA, we just have a little bit too much support here. We have 30-minute EMA. On the 5-minute, we have the moving average. So we definitely have some support here. And the 1 hour is a bit far off, so we're not there yet. But on the 4-hour time frame, we are still extremely overpriced. This was our high from the previous day, and this was our low from the previous day. The crossover did not happen on the 4-hour time frame yet. It could potentially happen in a day or 2, but we definitely have a lot of room to come down, and that's what I kinda want to come down a little bit. And if my, short gets triggered, the fact that the positive momentum is still here, I can later in the day jump in on a long trade, but I would want it to go below this, and I would want it to be closer to the 1470, 1480 price range if I were to do that. As of right now, I'm only focusing on this trade right now. We're definitely showing some bullish momentum at this area right here. Still did not break through the EMA, trading at 1530 right now. How long we've been trading for? 48 minutes now. Also, my goal is to not sit all day and trade because it is a bit counterproductive to just sit and stare at graphs for 8 hours straight. I used to do that, but you really don't want to be sitting there and doing that because you can get a lot of other work done instead of just staring at graphs all day. The momentum once it starts dying off, and if even if you're in a position you have your stop loss set or you have your buying entry set, it could be doing this for the next 30 minutes. So I can set alerts to indicate me if something happens, like if we break above the CMA or below the moving average, and then I'll get back on. But most of the time, I will only trade for about an hour to 2 hours maximum, and then I'll go do something else. But I do not sit here and stare at graphs 8 hours. I used to do that. And honestly, it becomes really counterproductive because you end up opening trades that are not as good of deals, and then you end up losing money a lot more often when you stare at them. It is a good idea to stare at them in the beginning because you start really learning patterns and how it's moving, but it's not a good idea to do it later when you're already trading and making money. It looks like we tested that EMA on the 5-minute time frame. We came back up to 1536 and kind of got rejected a little bit, and now we're at 1530. Still can't break above and can't break below, so we're kind of in the zone here. Let's see. We are still green. We're 1% up on the day on Webull. So even if we were to close right at this price, let's say we close at 1530 on the day, we would still be up 1%. And that would mean we would be 3 green days in a row. So for those of you who just got on and not sure what's going on, I opened a short position at 1560 on the Webull stock, which was right up at this price point, and we went down all the way to lows of 1319 or a little, yeah, 1319 for excuse me, 1519, and we didn't get triggered yet. We are getting close to getting triggered. 1514 is our trigger target, but are just not there yet. Looking at the 30-minute, look at how bullish this stock is right now. This morning we went down pretty hard, but then look at this wick, how we closed really high. And the same thing is kind of happening here. We pulled down, but look at this wick. Are we going to go lower or are we going to continue this momentum? That's the $1 million question right now. It looks like we're trying to break above the EMA line. If we do that, we could potentially see some more buying pressure kick in. If we get rejected and go below the moving average, we can start seeing some really selling pressure kick in. The RSI on the 5-minute is right out in the middle. We are not overpriced, oversold on the 5-minute short-term time frame. On the 30-minute, we are still above. We are above the middle line. We're a little bit overpriced. We're not too priced, but a little overpriced. And on the 4-hour time frame, we are really overpriced. And I'm kind of expecting a rejection. If we even drop to the moving average, I would already trigger my trade and we'd be done trading. That's the only thing annoying about trading. Sometimes you are so close to triggering your sell point, sell target, and it just didn't get triggered. And now you have to sit and stare at graphs some more until you get triggered or until your position gets triggered. You could have saved so much time if it just, triggered down there. I could potentially close out my position, but like I said, I don't want to do that because I did when I opened that position, I exposed myself to a loss. We could have continued going up and I could have taken a 1.5% loss, but I didn't because it went down. But I don't want to just close out the trade because then my profit will be too small compared to the loss that I was willing to take. And if you do that on a big scale every single day, you're going to end up being in a loss a lot more times than gains. So you do not want to expose yourself to that loss too many times without taking a decent gain, if that makes sense. 5-minute time frame, we are still below the EMA line and we are still above the moving average at the price of 1531 right now. Um, Not picking a direction, a lot of sideways movement. I just needed to wick back down a little bit. For my stop loss to get triggered, what would have to happen is we would have to break above. I would have to go above 1560, another 1.5%. We would have to break this high and go all the way to 1584 for my stop loss to get triggered. And you can see how that becomes less and less likely when you put yourself in a position like this. It's extremely possible, but the odds start becoming in your favor. And it looks like we are starting to try to pull back down a little bit. 1528, 1529. Yeah, 1529, 5-minute time frame. Still doing this sideways movement here. 1525. We are 10, 11 cents away from our sell target or cover target. And like I said, this whole trend doesn't need to reverse for me to take a short position. I can continue taking a short position right while we're moving up. It's just once it gets extremely overpriced like this, then taking a short position is a lot more likely to make money because we are 3 green days in a row. 1528, we are just not picking a direction. We're kind of just trading right in between. And if you look at the 5-minute time frame, look at these wicks like right here. Are these higher lows? These are potentially higher lows, but we also are getting lower highs right here compared to this one. This is on the 5-minute. This is a very small time frame, so this might not even matter, but in the short term it does. Um this next how many we have 4 minutes on this candle. I kind of want it to break at least below the 1519 range because if we do, that'll start indicating a little bit more bearish pattern on the day. As of right now, we definitely are not showing any signs of bearish momentum. But the fact that we are not breaking through this EMA line is also a good indicator for me because if we continue testing this and not break above it for a while, we could potentially pull lower and then my short will be covered. I am getting a little close, but I feel like we're about to get rejected because we already tested this multiple times and we did not break through. Current price 1523. If we break a little below 1519, then we could potentially move to the moving average and my short will be covered. 1522. Here we go. 1517, 1518. showing a little bit of bearish momentum, but we do need it to break below the moving average for a huge bearish pattern to start trading. I'm personally not taking all of that. I don't want to take the risk. Shorting is a little bit more risky. So my will be I'll cover my shorts at 15.14. And looks like we're getting slightly rejected. 15. I mean, we are a holding still. 15.23. Even with this pullback, we are still positive on the day. We are still green 0.5% about. Looks like we are not breaking below the moving average just yet, and now we're at 15.25. I would kind of want this to trigger my position and then end out the live stream, but if it keeps doing this sideways movement or if we start breaking above, I will probably end the live stream because it'll take a while for me to get triggered or to stop loss out. It'll take a while and then I'll just end the live stream there. But as of right now, we are still close. So I kind of want it to hit. Still trading in between the EMA line and the moving average, kind of stuck in this middle zone. I also might do another live stream on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. But if some more people want to watch, I'll probably do another live stream on Wednesday. Current price 15.23. Not showing bullish momentum, but also not too bearish. I think we are slightly showing a little bit more bearish on the day because once we got rejected from 15.30, we're not coming back up. We're kind of staying here. And as you can see, we're kind of pushing towards that moving average. We're kind of pushing towards the downside. And that's whenever you trade, that's kind of what you want because you can see the candles and you can see if it's kind of pushing towards your direction. At that point, you are safer to hold because it's pushing you towards your direction. But if sometimes you can feel how hard the candles get bought up, how hard the stock gets bought up. So a lot of those times you don't want to open a position when you can see the movement is super strong or just not going towards the direction you want. Sometimes it's even if you take a loss in the day, it's not always a good idea to reopen another share. Have you guys ever been stuck in a pattern where you open a position, you close it in a loss, and then you quickly open a position to regain your loss, but then you take another loss and it continues? Sometimes it's a lot better to just take a step back and wait for the next day. Like especially once you take a loss, it's better to just take a step back. But as of right now, we're close to triggering our short, but it's just not happening yet. We might end the stream here because it's not really doing much, but I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely come back again. I will be doing these live streams once in a while. Uh, Whenever those big inflation reports come out, I might do them then because those are going to be huge, huge market movers. But I probably will do another one on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. The current price right now is 15.28. So that's the plan. If we hit 15.14, my short will be covered. I will take my profit. And if we hit what price is that? 1584 up here. I will stop loss out. And my current price where I got in was 1560. So we're in the positive now, but we have not triggered that position, did not cover that short yet. So we'll see where it goes. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys.